Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I am here with my echoey bestie Jessica.
I'm in the warehouse and it echoes. It's a warehouse. Maybe when my new couch shows up tomorrow, my new reading chair, it won't echo as much, but honestly that's not taking up much room. So never mind. I lied. I don't know.
Stack boxes around yourself.
There you go. It's just the big vaulted ceilings. Anyhow, all right.
It's fine.
Well, yeah. All right. So today we're doing a video. This is what we haven't done before, right?
We have never done this. People have asked for it, so I hope they enjoy it.
I hope I got the right ones because we're doing banter.
Yes.
So romances
we
with
try
banter.
When I tell people I'm putting it on our list, we really do try and catch everything that's on the list. Sometimes it just takes longer.
Yeah, because this is one that I don't write down. I mean, I literally, there was two on this list that I have that were like written in my journal for having banter because it's not something I typically write down. So I really hope that the ones I chose actually have the banter that I say that they have because I second guess it.
Well, I also think it can be subjective because I was thinking of some and I was like, ooh, I don't know if that's really, if people are going to go for that with banter because it's more enemies to lovers feels. And so, and then I was thinking like, well, I mean, it's sitting right here, so that's why it's on my mind. But like the C.R. Jane series, there is a ton of banter in that, but it's mostly the guys ribbing each other. And so I was like, I think they want the couple.
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. So
I mean, one of my favorite books with banter is BJ Alpha's.
It's not domination, is it? It's Daddy Vinny's book.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to call it. I'm like, that's not the name of it.
It's not the name.
The latest book in that series.
Yeah.
Vinny's book, because Rocco, like, all in on picking on his dad, and it is hilarious. The banter between all of them is top notch. But I'm like, I don't think that's what people were meaning when they're talking about banter. I think they want it between the couple.
Yes,
so
exactly.
But speaking of tropes, we do want your recommendations because we're kind of running to the end of our list. And so if there's something you wanted to see that we haven't done yet, feel free to comment that below because we're getting to the point where we're like, oh, what should we do next? And so we do have stuff on our list, but maybe those are things people were looking for a while ago and they're not anymore. So feel free to comment below. And I might even just do a post on YouTube to kind of see what everybody's wanting. But feel free to comment below if there's a trope that you're really hoping we do soon.
Yeah, help a sister out because Mandy calls me and is like, we need to fill our list. And I go,
And then hit that subscribe button because everybody who's subscribed to Bestie Book Reviews is entered to win the Come What May PR kit from Corinne Michaels. I dove into this in the other video and showed more often. I'll also have a graphic that shows a little bit what's in it, but just wanted to remind everybody to hit that subscribe button and like and hype our videos. It means a lot to us. And tell your friends. We are trying to grow the channel a lot this year. I have big goals for us. So tell your friends so I can make my big goals.
Yeah, Mandy sets goals and I don't. I just follow
behind. So help me achieve our goals. Tell your friends.
It's not that I don't help with the goals. I just let her set the goals and then I follow.
And then I fret and then you're like,
relax, lady, just relax. That's what it's like. So
I want to make it happen.
I know, but you can't force it.
Anyway.
Okay. All right. So speaking of banter.
Yes.
Let's
We're
make
really good at that on the channel.
I know. We don't even try. It's just us. So yeah. We couldn't write a script if we were professional writers. I don't know where that's going. Okay. Well, let's talk about.
Speaking of banner.
What?
I still have just under a month left.
For?
Of you being significantly older than me.
Significantly by 2.5 months. Got it.
I am younger.
You are younger. Yeah.
Yep.
Not significantly.
All I heard was younger. And you're older.
Yeah. Okay. Can we talk about Banter books now?
Please. I've been waiting for you to get started.
Well, if you guys haven't figured out, and if you didn't figure out when I was talking about it earlier, I'm at the warehouse. So I did forget a book today that I was going to bring to show off that I own. So, I feel like this one is one of the reasons why I love it so much is because of the banter. And it's not something when I talk about this book that ever comes up because this book kind of doesn't really fit in a lot of our videos. And that is The Surviving Trace by Calla Reid. Because Serena and Etienne, they
Oh, good
banter.
job.
Yeah, I know. And like I was thinking about it
Good.
driving in. And I was like, oh, I left that book at home. But let's talk about it. Okay. So this, if you guys have not been around, because it comes up all the time, this book, this trilogy is my favorite book of all time, my favorite books of all time. Like if the apocalypse happened tomorrow, these are the books that I'm taking with me. This is Serena and Etienne. So it's always hard to describe their story. Just trust me, everybody who reads it falls in love with it. But Serena's from current time. She owns an antique store with her best friend. She is engaged to a guy named Will, and she's living her best life. She kind of has like this fascination with old photographs because, she runs an antique store. And her best friend one day brings in a box with old pictures that she got at a flea market. And she goes through that box. At the very bottom, she finds a picture of 4 guys sitting on the steps of a plantation house in 1912. And one of these guys, he's not the best looking out of the 4 of them, but there's just something about this guy that just draws her in. And she becomes obsessed with this picture to the point where a few days later, her fiance throws the picture in the fire. He is not happy with her because they're getting worried. She's so obsessed with this picture. Well, later that night, she actually hears the sounds of a ball or something happening. She falls through time, and then she realizes that she is in 1912 in this ballroom at this plantation house. And people know her by name. They know her as Serene. She's recognizing a guy or here or there from this picture, one of the guys from the picture. And then all of a sudden, this big gruff angry dude comes in and he declares himself her husband, and he pulls her out of the ballroom. Apparently she's throwing the party because Etienne, who is the gruff guy from the picture, is basically like he was married to a woman back then who looks like her same name and everything, but it's not her. And it takes some convincing for him to understand that she is not his wife. His wife is very cruel to him, but she's not his wife. She is somebody else. But these two have such amazing banter because she is a smart ass and he just doesn't he can dish it, but like he doesn't fully understand everything she's saying. He doesn't fully understand, she's from our time. This is 1912, Charleston, South Carolina. Like it's a little different back then. So I love their banter. I love their relationship. They are they're an epic couple, and these are epic stories. So there is audio for them, and they're amazing. If you haven't, go read them. I know you have.
Okay. I have.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, my first book is a brand new release and I loved it so much, but it definitely has the banter, and that is In Her Own League by Liz Tomforty. Now, this is a slight spinoff of the Windy City series. I would say read the Windy City series. It is phenomenal. And then read this. But you can read this as a standalone, and I think you would still enjoy it. It's so good because you get to see the Rhodes brothers again, and 2 of our favorite couples. So it's that way. But totally can be read by itself. So in this, we have Monty. Monty is the coach of the oh my God, I forgot the name. The Warriors, right? Of the baseball team. And Reese is the granddaughter of the owner, and the owner has decided to retire. Reese has been around a little bit. We see glimpses of her in a couple of the other books as she's working on shadowing and getting ready to take over. So in this book, she has officially became the first female major baseball league owner of a team. And so this comes with like a whole bunch of pressure for her to like really prove herself and be taken seriously. And Monty and her do not get off on the right foot at all. And she's a little bit standoffish a bit, but she's really trying to prove that she belongs here and that she knows what she's doing. And so they have some fantastic banter to start off with her constantly telling him not to tell her what to do. And then eventually it kind of becomes a running joke between the two of them. But it is a really, really great story with some fantastic banter between our couple to start. So I loved it.
Awesome. The next book that I have isn't out yet, but it will be at the end of March. I don't remember the date. I was gonna look, but as I started to look on the computer, you were finishing talking, and I was like, I don't have enough time. I think it's the 24th of March, but I could be wrong. And that is Rise of Ink and Smoke by Pam Godwin. So this is a little tricky. If you haven't read the trilogy, you really need to, you have to read that trilogy before you jump into this book. But this is about Dove, who is our heroine, and then you have two MMCs. One is Jag, and then one is somebody else that we're not gonna use his name for those who have not read the trilogy. But we're just going to call him Mr. MMC. So anyhow, he is the one that brings all of the banter. He's just snarky. He just has, I forgot how funny he was. Like, I love that boy. So anyhow, this male character is in Sitka. This takes place about 6 months after the end of the trilogy, and he is now working in Sitka as a tattoo artist. And one day he's obsessed with Disney and Disney princesses and all of that good stuff. And all of a sudden he sees a woman running up past him, running towards him in a wedding gown. And he's like, well, she's a princess in a gown. All my dreams have come true. And that is Dove. She has actually flown from California to Alaska because she found out that her stepbrother boned her fiance, and her stepbrother is in Sitka. He actually owns the tattoo parlor, and she's very angry, and she's going to take him out because she's just that angry. All of three of these characters have a lot of trauma. All three of these characters have a lot of things that they have to work through. It is I don't know if it's an MMF. Yep, it's an MMF because the boys have a relationship as well. They have the relationship to start, actually. But our Mr. MC here is very obsessed with Dove as well. And he is just a snarky little, yeah, he's just snarky. And Dove can throw it right back at him. So when this comes out at the end of the month, read it. Oops, my finger did a double tap. So there you go.
Okay.
Next.
My next one is Love You Mean It by Laura Pavlov. This takes place in her Blushing Alaska series.
Hold on. I hit the wrong thing and it shrunk you and me, and now I'm trying to make us bigger, but then sorry, fingers. I'm not in my regular element. Give me a break.
All right. So this is part of her Small Town Alaska Blushing series. It is a semi-interconnected standalone, but you can completely read this one by itself. So we have Violet, who is a wedding planner who doesn't really believe in love that much, which is kind of ironic. And her house ends up flooding when she's gone. And so she basically like comes home to a busted pipe, which that sucks. Her house is flooded, there's extensive damage, and so now she has to find somewhere else to stay. And so she ends up staying with Charlie, who is her friend's friend, basically. And they don't really get along, which leads to some phenomenal banter between the two of them. And he has a daughter, Harper, and like Harper is his world. And Violet gets along really well with Harper and kind of helps out. And she really forms a sweet bond with her, which I totally loved. So let's talk a little bit about the banter, though, because I know that's what the point of this video is. So there's a time where she goes to a bar and he is there, and she starts talking about some personal issues that he doesn't really have, but suggests that he has, which leads to somebody offering to help him with this problem and that she's okay with him having this problem. And it just turns into a very hilarious situation. And they just kind of do jabs at each other back and forth like that, not realizing that this is kind of their like personal love language and way that they enjoy flirting. So as they're kind of picking at each other, they're slowly starting to fall for each other, which is what I really enjoy in the banter department.
Okay. All right. There's something on my book here that just arrived, and I'm really getting annoyed because there's something on my book here that just arrived from Amazon. Okay. I discovered as I left today. Okay, anyhow. Well, the next book that I have is Bull Rush by Maggie Rodden. This one is this starts her Dark Horseman series, but this one isn't dark at all because it's supposed to be like or the Quiet Horseman. It's supposed to be like a mafia cowboy kind of thing, and you get that from the guys, like the brothers that happen in the books after this, but not so much in this first book. But this first book is about Hazel and Ramsey. Now, Hazel and Ramsey were married right out of high school, and then Ramsey he got called up by the NFL and he went, and their relationship fell apart at that point. She didn't want to go. She stayed behind, and so she hasn't seen him for many years. She inherited his family's farmhouse, like his grandmother's farmhouse, and she uses it as a bed and breakfast now. But Ramsey has been in jail. He's been in a situation. He helped out a NFL friend's woman, like protected her and killed someone, and so now he has been in jail. He is getting out of jail, and he is now on parole. Now he's going to be on parole for 3 months, and unfortunately, even though they thought that they were divorced, something didn't get filed when it was supposed to be filed. And so his parole officer says, no, you got to go live with your wife. And his wife at this point, Hazel, is engaged to somebody else. And so he pulls up into her driveway in an RV, and he's like, well, I'm here. And he ends up making a deal with her that he will let her have the farm. He will sign it all over to her and give her a divorce if she lets him live with her for 3 months as a husband, meaning her fiance has to go. These two, it is such hate, they're just back and forth, back and forth. It's great. I love the banter between the two of them. She doesn't let him get away with anything. Let's just put it that way. Plus, she's still pissed at him. Okay.
My next one has fantastic banter. It's hilarious. And so it is a rom-com, and the audiobook was one of my favorites. So this has great audio. I highly recommend the audio. And that is Bridesmaid Undercover by Megan Quinn. Samantha Brentmore voices Everly, and she does a phenomenal job. We interviewed her, and she talks about recording this book in that interview. The interview was like a little over almost a year and a half ago at this point. So you can search our channel for that if you haven't watched that yet. So Everly is a bridesmaid for hire, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You hire them and they come and do all the things that like your maid of honor bridesmaids would do, all of those little things. So it's kind of like a wedding planner, but like your personal friend wedding planner in a way. And so she has been asked by Hardy to help with his college friend's wedding because his college friends are getting married. He is the groom, like the best man. And then the maid of honor is his ex from college that he's starting to think is maybe the one that got away. And so she's moving back. And so he wants to try and get the two of them back together. So he's thinking that maybe this bridesmaid situation, she can kind of help him out, make him look good, talk him up, that sort of thing. So they go to spy on her at the zoo that she's now working at, and it leads to like the most hilarious situations ever. There's some great banter. Hardy cannot get his act together around his ex to save his life, and it is just so funny, and I loved it a lot. If you like banter, if you like a little rom-com and you really want to laugh, this is a great one. And I highly recommend listening to it. Samantha Brentmore just really makes it hilarious.
Okay, well, speaking of comedy or rom-coms, I got a dark rom-com next that takes banter to a whole nother level. And that is Sleigh Ride by Lauren Beale. This is the second book in her Slaycation series. You don't have to read book one to enjoy this one, but I highly recommend that you read book one because then you see a little bit of this couple's backstory. She has full cast audio for all the books in the series, and they're amazing. Same people for all 3 books. So it's great. So this book is about Bennett and Kat. So we meet them in the first book. They're at the retreat out on the island that all, so basically, okay, let me just start that again. So let me just, okay, I'm really into this and this is just killing me. So it is a rom-com. There are some horrible things that happen in here, but they're all serial killers. I mean, but they kill predators on, so it's okay, I guess. But they're all serial unalivers, and they need vacations too. And so they all go on these retreats, and that is where, in the original book, Bennett and Kat meet. They hate each other. They fight the whole time. They bicker. The banter is there. And then this is their book when they have a winter retreat in Alaska, and this is where we see them come together. And the banter doesn't stop, even at the end. Like, they're just at each other constantly. He refers to her as dumb. She thinks he's a man whore, and it just keeps going on and on and on. So Kat is a serial unaliver apprentice. She hasn't actually killed anybody yet. And that's partly because Bennett keeps blocking her every chance that she gets at these retreats to finally make her first kill. And then Bennett is
what are you reading?
I know, it's so funny. There's times, honestly, there's times when I'm reading this where I just want to call up Lauren and be like, what is wrong with you? But I love it, so it's okay. But then you've got Bennett, who is the brother to the hero in the first book, but they're both serial unalivers themselves. They go on this trip to Alaska, where basically all these killers get together and they have all these inmates that they chase down and they take out, and they make games out of it, and it's just crazy as all get out. But our hero and heroine end up getting snowed in a little shack one night, and in order to keep warm, there's just just a little fire in this one little place with a couch. They end up boning that night, and then they decide to keep their relationship a secret because everybody thinks that they hate each other, and everybody thinks that there's stereotypes that they're both working against. But he really starts to open up to her, and it's great. But they're so funny. There's times when I'm laughing in these books, and a lot of it is their banter. But there's times when I laugh in these books that I don't think, I mean, I know she's trying to get us to laugh, but oh my gosh, they're very dark themes and things that are happening, but she makes them funny. So, there's also like wrongful use of food products.
Okay, question.
Yeah.
How is Alaska?
Oh, she did it right. She did 100%. It's not talked about quite a bit, but it talks about how it's dark up there because it's at Christmas time that they're up there, and it talks about how there's only like 4 hours of daylight. So that was on point. Talked about how cold it was and stuff. There isn't a lot of talking about the elements, but what she did talk about, she got correct. So I was impressed.
That's probably the key to those things, is to keep it basic. So then that way, if somebody else has a slightly different experience, then you're not.
Yeah, I just think those, and what she did cover was enough. I mean, just knowing that it's dark there in the wintertime, you do get some daylight, but that kind
Which
of
is
stuff.
probably part of like it being kind of funny that it's a retreat in Alaska in the winter.
Yep.
But that's
it's the Winter
fitting
Games
for people who kill for fun. What? Wow.
It is. I know. It's when I'm reading it and I'm like, what? How does she come up with this stuff? Because it's so crazy. It's crazy. So, yeah. Okay.
So speaking of dark killers,
Yeah.
I have a sports romance. That's not dark, and there's nobody killing anybody.
Okay.
And I just realized there's a bookmark in it, and it is like a thick one.
Yeah, I like the thick ones.
I know. I'm excited for that. Okay. So mine is a Playbook by Rebecca Genshak. I love this book. It's another really funny one where there's some great banter. So we have London and Brogan. Brogan he is now playing college ball. He's quite well known, so well known that women send him lots of things. They put their underwear in packages and send them, they spray him with perfume. And poor London has the unfortunate problem of having Brogan's old P.O. box. And he apparently did not forward his mail. So she continues to get a lot of his stuff. And it is really driving her over the edge. And so she ends up going out with some friends, and he is there. somebody tells her who he is. She doesn't know what he looks like or anything. She just knows that she gets his underwear or women's underwear and lingerie and all this stuff in the mail. So she goes up to him and confronts him and lays into him about his like panty pen pals and all of this stuff and just goes right after him. And he is taken back a little bit because he's used to women throwing themselves at him. And she's like chewing him out and challenging him a little bit. And so he kind of gives it back to her a little bit, but he's also like, wow, I'm like really intrigued by her. And it continues, like this goes on. And then he asks her out and she's like, no. And so then he starts writing to her and she keeps turning him down. Eventually, she ends up taking the tickets to go see a game and they start talking, but she continued, like the banter between the two of them continues. And it's just great. I loved it so much. So if you enjoy sports romance, but you don't want it to be like all sweet and sappy, like you need something different, this is definitely a very different vibe because she's not smitten with him at all. Like at all. She is tired of his harem of pen pals. So loved
All
it
right.
for that.
Well, hopefully it's not too crazy loud. The heater just kicked on, which is why I had myself muted, but I can't get it to go off. It's set to a certain degree here. Okay, well, let's talk about my last book, and I'll talk loud, I guess, is what I'll do. So, stinking heater. All right, so the last book I have is the only book that in my journal I have ever written banter down for. And that was Caitlyn Can't Die by Liz Hamilton. They must have had amazing banter because I wrote it in the book. I don't remember a ton about it, but if I wrote it in here, then it's there. So this is Caitlyn and Riley's story. So this is post-apocalyptic. It's kind of zombies. They call them bloats instead. They like bloat up with black sludge in them, and you don't want the black to touch you because then you can become a bloat yourself. But Caitlyn has survived the apocalypse with the guy that she was on a third date with, and so she's stuck with him. I mean, she said it was good D. That was about it. He's kind of dumb as a box of rocks. But now she's got her period, and getting your period in the apocalypse sucks. So, I could imagine that, like having to go find tampons. So they're in a store trying to find pads or tampons or something when bloats show up and some horrible things happen. Caitlyn gets away, but she is injured. And then that is where she meets Riley. He finds her bleeding out next to a tree in the woods. And he was a nurse or something in his previous life before the apocalypse. And so he decides to bring her back to health or to, nurse her back to health. But he and her don't, I mean, they banter. They banter a lot because she didn't want to survive the apocalypse. And he keeps helping her survive it. And she's like, why do you want to live? Like, why do you still want to be around? This sucks. But eventually she likes him enough that it doesn't suck. Okay. What's your last book?
Well, I don't think that we could do a book or video rec like about banter without including a book from this author.
Okay.
And that is Elizabeth O'Rourke. If you subscribe to her newsletter, you will see that she lives her life with banter. Also, did everybody read her last newsletter? She is working on the vampire book. She told us about this a while ago and she has started
Yeah, and she wasn't going to do it. And I was like, please, Elizabeth, please write this for me.
Yes.
I think she'd already had it. Had she already written some of it?
She said in her newsletter, she's been working on it for years and she's finally decided to put something together. So you can read a little bit about it. There's no publication date. So I don't know if she's just going to slowly give us chapters through her newsletter or if she's actually going to put a book together and give us a date. I don't know.
Yeah, I need to message her and ask her about it because she's like, I told her just write it. I would be the only one that read it. And she said, okay. So apparently she's agreed that I shouldn't be just the only one that read it and others should enjoy it as well. I need to know more.
Yeah. We will see her in just a week so we can ask her.
We will. I'll bug her then. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So on to my book. I decided there's a lot. So you could go with the Devils series, any book really you could go with. I decided to go with one of my personal favorites, which is hard for me to pick personal favorite out of hers, but I did, and it's my favorite bad decision, which shouldn't be too shocking. Jessica, get ready to say the mountain.
Kilimanjaro. Okay.
Okay, so we have my favorite bad decision by Elizabeth O'Rourke, and we have Kit and Miller. Miller is Kit's sister's ex-boyfriend from almost 10 years ago. They don't get along very well. So Kit's dad has decided that she needs to go climb Kilimanjaro before she can take over the magazine company that he has, or a particular part of the magazine. And so she says she's in pretty good shape. She trains for a month and off she goes. When she lands there and gets off the plane, she realizes that she recognizes somebody in the airport, and it is Miller. Now, again, the two of them don't get along very well, but it turns out that they're both going to go climb Kilimanjaro at the same time with the same company. She is not very happy about this. Now, Kit is recently engaged, but she is feeling about it, kind of like it's the safe bet. And we learn more about that as we read the whole story. But anyway, the two of them are now going to be climbing this mountain. There is like, I don't know how much more forced proximity you can get than climbing like Kilimanjaro and being like stuck out there together for like several days. But the banter between the two of them is top notch because the two of them don't really get along. But we know what that really means in romance books is that there's some like level of like some tension and some chemistry brewing there. But remember, Miller is Kit's sister, who she's extremely close to, ex, and her sister thinks that he is the one that got away. So, top notch banter and angst. Loved this one so much. But again, you could pick up any Elizabeth O'Rourke book if you're wanting to see some banter.
Well, there's really not much in her time travel one, though. I mean, there's some. So, any of her current ones? Do you remember there being some in there?
I feel like the second one had it.
It might have. She's just funny and she has the banter going anyway. So, that's going to come out in her
Yes.
books no matter what. Yeah.
Yes.
So, all right, guys. Well, there you go. 10 books with banter.
Okay. We hope you like this.
Yeah.
And again,
sure.
Don't forget to give us some trope recs tropes that you would like to see us do book recs on down below. Comment, like, hyper video, and obviously please subscribe. And check back on Mondays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and usually Wednesdays for new videos from us.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.